And now we're going to have our series of readings that will be in lieu of a sermon. We're going to start with Mary Miller on Zoom, reading from a Native American author.
This is an excerpt from the book Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. The exchange between plants and people has shaped the evolutionary history of both. Wild plants have changed to stand in well-behaved rows, and wild humans have changed to settle alongside the fields and care for the plants, a kind of mutual taming. Food plants and people act as selective forces on each other's evolution. The thriving of one is in the best interest of the other. This, to me, sounds a bit like love. People often ask me what one thing I would recommend to restore relationship between land and people. My answer is almost always, plant a garden. It's good for the health of the earth, and it's good for the health of people. A garden is a nursery for nurturing connection, the soil for cultivation of practical reverence. And its power goes far beyond the garden gate. Once you develop a relationship with a little patch of earth, it becomes a seed itself.
Thank you, Mary. Now, the dangers of being a relative, you get called on to share in the joys of worship. And so my father will read this next piece.
This is a passage from The Well-Gardened Mind by Sue Stuart Smith. The human brain is primed to enter into an intimacy with nature as part of our hunter-gatherer heritage. We can hardly say that gardening is in our DNA, but a link with plants surely is, for our remote ancestors' survival depended on it. Hence the deep human affinity that exists with plants and our propensity to develop an understanding of their habits and their properties. The practice of cultivation as it developed drew on these skills and combined them with the human instinct to care. Cultivation works both ways. It is inward as well as outward. And tending a garden can become an attitude toward life. In a world that is increasingly dominated by technology and consumption, gardening puts us in a direct relationship with the reality of how life is generated and sustained, and how fragile and fleeting it can be. Now more than ever, we need to remind ourselves that first and foremost, we are creatures of the earth.
And now it's my great delight to welcome Christine Hopkins up to share a poem.
Hello, this is an ode to an iris. To the iris I go, singing to the bloom in my skirt, the pale, pale pulse of trees of the beige damask, echo of a sprig, purple foreignness flying. I am and breathe for the next dig. I go, just hands beyond the just, and climb, clamber through begonia, a blue husk, in patience, a dolly for leaves. I breathe for the happiness. I breathe. Each petal is forgiveness. Each petal alms. I breathe for honeysuckle to cut through the season in a lapse in sorrow. A map shows the lines I departed. For this hill, from hill to hill I go. The map reveals what I departed to dig where I've alighted. The hill I see clear, First Mountain.
Thank you, Christine. Christine, was that your first time? Oh, congratulations. Wonderful job. Now we have Rita to come up, our president, to share the pledge campaign.
Good morning. Again. So we are trying to wrap our pledge campaign this week. And as I'm sitting there this morning, thinking what I can say to you to encourage you, if you have not pledged, to do so. Sue, who's in the back right here, will have some extra pledge cards. So I look around this morning, I listened to Stefan talk about looking at people's sweet faces. I've been a member here since 2002. Catherine Colin and I joined together. We've always had a bond because of that, I think. There have been members we have lost who have been very special to many of us. And we have members who have joined us, and we're so happy to have you. When I look around this chapel, I think, look at the beautiful windows and the lights, and I give thanks for people who, Lucinda and Dory, who did the Stevens Chapel project, and you're sitting in the beautiful Stevens Chapel. It's such a gift to all of us, and anybody that I ever bring in here just thinks it's such a wonderful contemplative place. And I invite you to turn around now and look at the people who are also here. You welcome each other on Sunday mornings. We come to your home bringing meals if you need it. Our social network makes quilts and pillows that bring comfort to many. The fact that this is such a caring congregation of one another is, I think, one of the things that makes, and maybe the thing that makes this place such a special place for all of us to gather. We can gather on Sunday mornings. We share our joys together, our sorrows, and we lift one another up. Be part of this church, part of this congregation, by making a pledge or a promise that you can make. Every pledge is welcome, and we're very grateful. We are all grateful for one another. I'm grateful for our musicians. Jeremy is a gift to all of us. Mary Jane asked if I would also ask you today. We have Laura and Judy coming with the free will offering, if you will. If you brought your pledge card with you, you can put it in the offering. If you did not, I have a couple in my pocket. And I'm happy to leave with those or send them in. But thank you. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for the gifts that you bring to one another. And we will now accept the offering for today. Thank you. Sure.
Roger Moffat will continue with our readings, and this one seemed so seasonal, it seemed really appropriate for now.
Good morning. I always look at garlic planting as a soulful time in the gardening cycle. It is saying goodbye to summer and embracing the dormancy of winter, when seeds deep below the surface slowly get ready for spring emergence. Living in a climate with such long winters, I need these small but important rituals to remind me that the spring will come and the cold, barren winter is a necessary part of it all. The seed garlic is planted in the fall because it needs to send roots far into the earth in order to feed itself the following year. I take this as a metaphor for my own winter activities that feed me all year long. Catching up on sleep, feeding my mind with more reading time, eating great nourishing foods, spending more time with friends and family. I digress here, but these are the thoughts I have as I plant garlic. And after many years of doing it, I find that it is a necessary part of my mental preparation for winter. From the Red Wagon Plants blog on the ritual of planting garlic bulbs.
And finally, it didn't seem that we could have a service about planting daffodil bulbs without sharing William Wordsworth's famous poem. So Susanna will do that. Susanna's the board.
Just a little thing about the poem. I have to read a poem about 14 times before I can stand up here and speak it. And I actually listened to this one read on YouTube. And when I listened to it, it took me till the last time to really realize that William Wordsworth was saying that he was lonely, and when he saw this amazing community of daffodils, it made him feel not lonely. So that's kind of just like the little bit that I got out of it, and I thought it was so amazing, so that when he was alone again, he could look back at this vision, and it brought him a feeling of friendship. So I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 sigh at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils.
So we're going to be making our very own crowd of daffodils. First, we'll have the hymn for the beauty of the earth, number 21. Our words of benediction are by the Reverend Susan Carlson. We leave blessed by our connections to one another and to the spirit of life. Spread your arms, feel the joy, live to love and be a blessing on this earth. Now we're going to switch up how things usually happen a little bit. The postlude will play while we silently take our bulbs outside along the ramp and along the staircase going up to the office. And when you you'll see the holes are flagged. When you get there, go ahead, put your bulb in right way up and fill it in. If there's not soil right there, there's a bucket of earth just a little distance away that you could use to cover it over nicely. So this is the end of the service, but please quietly go out and enjoy planting your bulb.